Yeah, I went in and I did a little raiding with the guild today.
It was kind of like a take your daughter to work day then for them.
Oh my god! you know me. I don't raid. I don't know the mechanics.
You're listening to the Goblin Goldcast with Dex and Mac. I got mouths to feed, so let's get this thing started. Time is money, friend.
Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, Azeroth. You're listening to the Goblin Goldcast, your guide to making gold in World of Warcraft. This is episode 42. I'm your host, Dex, coming to you from Napa, California. With me on Skype is a man who realizes that having sex at his age is like trying to shoot pool with a rope. My co-host, Mac, from Anchorage, Alaska. How you doing, Mac?
Oh, man. I don't even know where to go with that one.
I thought you were going to say orgasm, corner pocket. Something like that. I don't know.
I think you think I'm a little older than I am there. I make a little comment about our hair last episode, and you've got to aim lower.
No, you're that old. You really are. I mean, it's...
Oh, man.
You've got more blue pills than you can count, I think. It's just... It's like every time you watch The Matrix and you get to that point to where you take the blue pill and you can wake up and nothing, and you're like, oh, crap, I forgot to take my blue pill.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think you're just stretching.
All right. Well, whatever. Well, normally at this time I ask you about your week, but I think...
Apparently you think I don't do anything with my week.
Well, not without medication. Hey, everybody needs a little help now and then. You just need a little help in a different area. That's all. It's all right.
I think you're mistaken.
Don't be ashamed. Do not be ashamed. So, wear it proudly. Normally I ask about your week, but I don't think we should bury the lead. I think we should kind of start out with my week. What do you think?
Yeah.
There have been developments.
We'll let you go on with what happened during the week, and I'll...
Okay, well...
We're gonna have guests. We're gonna have guests that are gonna come on the program that are gonna go, no, I don't think so. We just never know where that Dex guy is gonna go.
No. If they check the tapes, they'll see that it's always aimed squarely at you. So, I'm actually very nice to our guests.
I think it's a jealousy thing.
It is. Those blue pills cost a lot of money here in California. So
I don't know.
Anyway, so, we were doing our usual thing of running down the emissary quests. And
I was playing taxi.
You were. I called for an Uber. And did I tip you, by the way?
No.
I gave you 5 stars, so that's good enough. But come on. Somebody out there's done that before. I don't have money for a tip. But I gave him 5 stars. I'm good. Anyway, so we're running down and knocking these things out, and I have to say it happens a lot quicker when you can fly around from spot to spot and not deal with the geography.
I like flying. Yeah.
The terrain. Yeah, flying is good. We should get that for everybody. But at any rate, we were actually joined by Constrax, and he kind of went along with us for a little while, and didn't go along with us.
He was on Skype.
He was on Skype with us. He didn't have a horde tune that was up to level to run around with us at the time. I think he's working on that.
He was living vicariously through us.
He was, and I didn't want him to feel bad about his whole alliance thing. I mean, it's getting to be more and more common. It's not something that you feel like you have to be shamed about anymore, I don't think. But at any rate, he knew we were all logging out, and he logged out right before we were going to. We were just going to do that final turn in.
Right.
And much like me, he had zero confidence that I was going to get a legendary, so he didn't hang around for it. We joke about this, and he didn't even hang around to see what I got. The last one he was around for, and he heard me say, no, not even an upgrade, nothing. And so I do the turn-in, and what's funny is I'm always looking for the orange text when I do the turn-in. I see the orange text pop up, and Mac was doing a turn-in at the same time. And so instantly what I thought was, oh, that bastard, he got another one. He got another legendary. And then I look and it's like, no, that's my name next to that. And it's like, oh, what is that? And Mac thought I was kidding, I think.
I thought he was going to burn my eardrums out.
Yeah, you could have knocked me over. And then I took a look at it. And the awesome thing about it is, now I'm on my hunter. And, if I were, I could be a pessimist about it and be real cynical and say, oh yeah, I'm going to get one that I would never use. I'm going to get the worst one, but I didn't. I took a look at it, and the one that I got was called the Shadow Hunter's Voodoo Mask, and not the best one for everybody, but for me, it's perfect. What this one does is it heals you for 20% when you feign death, and then 5% per second for the next 10 seconds while you're feigned. And that fits in perfectly like a glove with my playstyle. My playstyle is to pull way too many mobs, get the hell beat out of me, have to feign death before I die, and then wait until I naturally heal up so that I can kind of escape and slink away. And this will make that process go a lot smoother, I think.
Well, it was kind of funny because I did tweet out that you had got your first legendary, and we did have some listeners that responded on Twitter. And this, basically saying with your luck, it was probably something that was unusable for you. But it's nice to see that you got one that's usable.
Oh yeah, now I'll get another one because I can't use two. So now the floodgates will open up, and I'll get a whole bunch of them, that I can't use. But anyway, so that was my week. Everything else kind of pales in comparison to that. Not even worth mentioning. But so, I have to keep looking at it and make sure it's still there. And now I did have something cynical to say right after.
They're gonna have a rollback.
Yeah, I said servers are gonna crash, and I'm gonna roll back an hour, and I won't have it. Or what's worse than that? I roll back like 15 minutes, 20 minutes, so that I have completed the quest, but I just haven't opened up the chest yet, and then I get something different, That would be the worst. But anyway.
Well, not for me. I'd be able to make fun of you for another 6 months or so.
Yeah.
Now I gotta find something else that I can give you a hard time about.
I'll try not to make it too difficult on you. I'll try to do something Mac-esque that you can make fun of.
Oh, there we go.
Hey, I never make mistakes.
Yeah, we've seen this. Yeah,
there is no I in denial. So, anyway, so why don't you tell us a little bit about anything earth-shaking in your week that you'd like to talk about?
Nothing earth-shaking, just having fun. Looks like I'm going to be making some good money with those mechano hogs.
Cool.
I've got very little, if any. It looked like I was going to have a few people up there with competition with me, but I don't have a lot on the server. So I've been out running those things around. Unfortunately, today, while I was running around gathering parts for my mechano hog, the Serenite bars, and to turn into titanium bars with my alchemist, and then you turn them into titan steel bars.
Right.
Because that stuff is expensive in the auction house. So.
Oh yeah, I made some money making those and selling those for a while.
Yeah, there's some gold making out there for somebody who wants to just spend a little time and some old content. The Titan steel bars are going for like $920 gold each. Titanium bars are going for $179 gold each. Mm-hmm. Even Serenite bars are going for about $35 gold a piece. Right. So there's a lot of gold in there. But anyways, I was out running around doing that, and as I've mentioned before, I'm in a couple guilds. One of them is a kind of a raiding guild, And when I first joined the guild, I told them, hey, I work nights, and by the time I get home, there was going to be absolutely no time for me to, be on raids. Basically, the raid will be done and over with by the time I get on. So they have never seen me in any raids. I'm usually not on during raid time. Mm-hmm. And so today I'm just fiddle farting around with my with my rogue engineer gathering stuff up, and I guess they were forming the raid, and they said the weekly raid, and they said, hey, raid invites are going out here in 5 minutes, and I ignored it because I am not in the raiding team, and I didn't notice later on in guild chat where they were talking, but they were having trouble getting some DPS in to do the raid, and I'm out running around. Finally, someone sent me a direct tell, hey, you going to join the raid? It's like, oh, I hadn't planned on it. Well, not with this tune. He's not. I said, let me bring on my DK so at least I can help out.
Right.
So, yeah, I went in and I did a little raiding with the guild today.
It was kind of like a take your daughter to work day then for them.
Oh my God. Me, I don't raid. I don't know the mechanics, so it's yeah. It was fun. It's like the raid. Don't stand in the crap. Yep, that was me.
Yeah.
I was I was able to put out a pretty decent amount of DPS. Every item I did win, I gave away to somebody else because it was not an upgrade.
Right.
Those are some boots. Do you need those boots? It's like, no, I got legendaries. Yeah.
There we go.
Who needs them? Yeah.
There we go.
So, anyways, yeah. So they are now expecting me to I guess raid with them weekly.
Wow. Some people just don't learn the first time around.
I know.
Might take them a little while. Eventually, you're going to hear, who invited this guy? Come on.
Yeah. Well, when I was working different schedule, I was working nights, and it wasn't a problem.
Yeah. Well, so how have you been sharpening up and learning how to run these raids? You been doing some research or anything?
Oh, no. Well, the guys over at the guys over at Lion's Pride Tavern, the podcast over there, Fafford and the folks over there, I have been listening to them because they talk about the raids and the things that are going on, some of the mechanics. So I've actually, when I listened to them before, I wasn't raiding, so I wasn't paying as much attention to
right
all of the specifics. I'm paying a lot more attention now.
There you go.
So if you want some good advice or good information on raiding, they talk about their weekly raids and some of the pluses and minuses.
Yeah, they started about the time that we did, so we feel a little kinship there to them, and and hope the best for them, of course.
And it's unfortunate that they're an alliance-based guild, but it is what it is. But
I'm sure when they listen to our podcast, they just kind of like cover their ears when I get to that part.
Yeah.
So. Sorry, guys.
A good group of people over there. I enjoy listening to their podcast. I recommend it for anyone who hasn't been out there and checked them out yet.
Oh, absolutely. So, do we have any other any other things come over Twitter or Facebook or anything like that you wanted to cover? Contract
sent us an email this week. It's a little long. Won't be able to go into the whole thing, but basically he he's having fun. Still making gold. Had a little. He was trying to level a tune apparently, and had someone that got into the group and decided to, you always have this one idiot that comes in and decides to troll the group.
Right.
Oh, let me accidentally on purpose pull everything in sight just because I'm a jerk. And
we used to say, is school out already?
Yeah. Well, it is.
I thought spring break was the previous week. Yeah.
It is what it is.
I know the feeling when that happens. I try not to group with Mac for that very reason, but sometimes,
I'm getting better. I don't stand in the crowd all the time.
Right.
As long as I understand the mechanics of a fight. What does that mean? Deadly boss mobs are telling me to do something. Why is everyone running while I'm chasing them around the room?
Well, we've got a few little things to cover this week that I think you're all going to find very interesting. Or I hope you will. And we'll be back right after this.
Hey, this is Heather and Dave, organizers for our 5th annual event, Con Before the Storm. This event means the world to us and the community. And for the last 4 years, none of this would be possible without you. Since 2013, when we began as World of Podcast, every year we have been humbled by the kindness of people in this community.
On Thursday, November 2nd, we plan to return with World of Podcast, our amazing fan art gallery featuring over 200 pieces of unique art, our meet and greet where content creators like Bajira, esports team like Method, and celebrity personalities like Malik Forte, Pamela Horton, and Michelle Morrow have mingled with fans.
Our Kickstarter is currently in full swing. We want to hit our stretch goals to get a larger space, which includes a Frog Pants and A-Move TV meetup, plus potentially some other stretch goal surprises.
Thank you for taking the time to check out our campaign and for your continued support. Help us kick off BlizzCon celebrations this year at Con Before the Storm 2017. Party by fans, for fans. For more information, please visit kickstarter.conbeforestorm.com.
You know, the next thing I wanted to talk a little bit about, when we posted our last podcast up, episode 41, I had a comment that wasn't specifically to that podcast because God knows we didn't cover any gold making in that. But we had one of our listeners, Rivenstar, had made a post on the website, and you can take a look at it if you want to go and see for yourself. But what he put on there was, he said, I have a question I haven't heard addressed. He said, on my main servers, Moonguard, there's a real righteous plague of 1 copper undercutters. And he goes on to talk about how that he's got somebody that keeps repeatedly undercutting him for 1 copper or 1 silver or something like that, and it's annoying him a little bit, and he just wants to know if we had any suggestions for how to deal with that. And I did respond to him, and in a nutshell, what I said, I told him the first thing that you want to do is figure out what hours the person that's doing this, what hours they're active. If you're posting at the same time when they happen to be on, and they're kind of camping the auction house, and just every time you post, popping it up, popping it down a copper, and undercutting you, and you find that maybe at another time during the day they're not around, then it's just a simple matter of changing when you do your posting, and that can make all the difference. But that assumes that they're not going to be camping it 24/7. And if they're camping it 24/7, odds are it's not a real person, because real people need to sleep and eat and bathe. Okay, well, some of them don't bathe, but they do need to eat and sleep, most of them. And so you may be dealing with a bot. And the thing that you want to find out at that point, you want to find out, is this a real person or if it's a bot? Because you deal with them 2 completely different ways. So what you want to do is you want to try at different times during the day, see if this person is always up, and you can kind of figure out if it's a bot, a little bit by doing that. And after you determine it is a bot, you might want to do a little test and see if it's a poorly written bot, because there are good bots and there are bad bots, quality bots and ones that are just kind of thrown together in a haphazard way. And fortunately, there's a large number of them that are really crappy bots, and you can take advantage of these. So what you want to do is really late at night, server time, you want to take, let's say it's Starlight Rose or something like that, or maybe another herb that has some good value to it, and they've got stacks and stacks of it that they're posting, and they're undercutting you by a copper. And if it is a bot that's doing this, you can post not one stack, but one single item, and put it at a very low price. With it being just one, it's not going to be something that's likely going to attract people to snatch it up, with it being only a single. But the bot may see it and automatically undercut it by a copper. And so what you can do with this is you can find, does it have a bottom level that it will go? Does it get to a certain point and then it won't undercut anymore? Or does it just keep going down? And if it keeps going down, then it's kind of a game of chicken. What you're doing is you're driving it, you'll drive it down really low, and one of two things will happen. Either you'll get the opportunity to make a ton of gold by buying it all up at below wholesale prices on everything, or someone else is going to beat you to it and buy all of their stuff, all this guy's stuff up, the bot stuff at a very low price. It's kind of a win-win situation. You either win or you win big. If the bot loses all its mats to somebody who's going to repost it at a normal price, you win. And if you get it for almost nothing, you really win. So, I mean, that's the way I kind of look at it. A lot of times it's going to be a bot. We're seeing just a flood of these right now, and especially if it's herbs or ore or something like that, they'll have a bot set up to farm it and then a bot to sell it. And the person setting it up, they're going to be pretty hands-off most of the time. And the downside for that for them is somebody like me is going to come along and take advantage of it and make some gold. So, just something to think about.
I've had a similar situation on in the auction house where I'm doing Goblin Gliders, and I have a certain price that I post them at, and I sell them just about every one at the price that I sell them at. And there's guys that come in and they decide they're going to throw them in at half price.
Right.
And I have not made a Goblin Glider in probably since last October. But I sell a ton of them. And I just have somebody else that's made them. It's like, why in the world? Especially if they're, because they do this continually. And if you see me on the auction house selling them at a certain price every day,
all right,
you got to realize I am selling them at that price. I'm not just continually reposting them at that price because they won't sell. And coming in there and just trying to cut me off the kneecaps. Well, first of all, you just become my supplier, and again, yeah. I'm not losing any money at it.
Well, you know what they say, Mac. The best employees are the people who don't know they're your employees. So.
Like I said, I've got plenty of Goblin Gliders. I've made a killing off of them since the expansion started, and
right.
Like I said, but that is something that I have. That it's just. Every day I come in and I look at the auction house, okay, all right, looks like I got to buy 30 of them at half the price that I'm selling mine.
Yeah.
So, I'll do that.
Those are real people, though. Those aren't bots.
Oh, no. Those definitely aren't bots.
So there's an opportunity to make gold, even if it's a real person as well. It's just you're not going to get them for, a few silver. Right?
No, not a few silver, but I'm still getting them. I'm still getting them at a price where it's really basically I can double my money. Just
There is one other thing to think about, and that's that if you post things at even numbers, let's say you got something that you're posting at 5K, and this bot. Or not even a bot, it's just like a regular person, even just a regular undercutter comes in, says, oh, 5K, I'm going 4,999.99. Okay. There are a lot of people out there. I'm sure there are a lot of people listening right now that are of the attitude of, no, I'm going to buy it from the guy that's at 5K. I'm not going to save that one copper by rewarding this undercutter. There are some people that have to deal with that with their own things that they post, right. And it pisses them off so much that when it comes time to purchase things, they remember that, and the undercutter doesn't, just because they're the lowest, they do not get the business. So don't worry too much about it. If it's like Rivenstar, I think he was dealing with gear, so he probably wasn't dealing with a bot. I think he was selling high-end gear. and so forth. So a bot's probably not going to be running something like that. So he just needs to find his time of day to sell, probably. But on something like that, especially when you're talking about a bigger ticket item, when somebody just undercuts you by a copper or a gold or a couple gold or whatever, a lot of people are going to see that and think, what a jerk, and they're not going to buy from them. They're going to buy from you.
Well, and another thing to think about when you're when you're undercutting, and I had somebody do this with a high end item I've got in the auction house, where I've got a high, I have the item priced a little high,
right?
But I've got a buyout or a bid price which is considerably lower. Well, I put that up. I was the only one in the auction house who was in there. Well, somebody came in today and put a similar item up and cut the price by 1 gold. But his bid price is exactly the same as his buyout price. Now, if somebody's going to spend that sort of gold for an item, they're going to try to get the bid price rather than paying the 1 gold less. At least I would do it that way.
Right.
So, if you're gonna play the undercut game, undercut with a brain.
Right. So it sounds like what you're saying is they barely undercut you on theirs. They do not have a bid price, so to speak. They've just got a buyout, and you've got a lower bid price, and that's a better deal than their undercut.
Oh, yeah.
But on something like that, what you're going to see a lot is when your auction is about to expire, provided somebody hasn't bought it yet, somebody looking at one that's about to expire, then they're going to probably say, oh, yeah, you know what, I'll go ahead and I'll bid on that because I'll probably get it, and they'll save some gold. But sometimes on some things, people just don't want to wait. It'll be something they need right away, or bidding is not for sure. If it's something they want to make sure that they don't want to lose out on, they're not comfortable with bidding.
Item, so,
yeah. It just depends on what it is and what the urgency might be for that thing. If you're talking about potions for raid night and it's time for the raid, then people are not going to. They're going to buy it out, obviously.
No, I'm talking about a high-end vanity item that, it's not something that somebody needs to, I have to have it today, it's like,
Right. Okay, all right. So anyway, that pretty much covers that. Rivenstar, if you're listening, we appreciate you writing in and asking the question, and I hope what I responded back to you on the website was a little bit helpful. And maybe you can find a way to move your product without having some jerk ruin your day. But and I won't undercut you by a copper anymore. I apologize. So, anyway, so while getting ready for the podcast today, something that we hadn't planned on talking about that we're going to kind of move into the podcast and edge some other things out with is some changes, recent changes to on the PTR to 7.2.5, the upcoming patch, and a couple of things that I find exciting that I think are pretty awesome changes. They're adding some items for one. Finally, we are getting heirloom upgrades. We are getting a couple of pieces that can be used to bring your heirlooms from 100 to 110. So,
sweet.
People that have alts out there, rejoice, because I think Blizzard has been listening, and it seems like there's a little bit of a focus on, let's start making this a little more alt friendly. I mean, we just got the flying in Legion that's of course going to be that's account bound.
Right.
That's account wide, I should say. That was a start. There have been some catch-up mechanics that have been put in place, some other things that are on the way. And this really adds to it. And, I mean, especially since heirlooms now are on the tab, and you don't have to, you don't have to mail them around between your alts and all of that. You buy them, upgrade them, and you've got them for whenever you bring up an alt. And now that those bonuses are going to go all the way up to the current level, that's nice. That's huge. I don't have any idea what those items are going to be selling for yet. Certainly going to be more than what the level 100 upgrades were selling for, I'm sure.
Right.
They're going to be pricey. But for somebody that deals with a lot of alts, it's going to be worth it, I think. How do you look at that, Mac? I think they are.
Yeah, I mean, I've still got a few tunes that aren't 110, so I might take advantage of that. I know I ran around this expansion and tried. I mean, even though it wasn't as alt friendly as I would have liked it to have been, I still tried to level a bunch of alts. But man, it is tough to keep up with everything with more than like 4 or 5 tunes, and
yeah,
I try to do it with like 6 or 7 and about.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, and so with the heirloom upgrades and with certain power increases that are happening here and there, power leveling is probably going to become a thing again real soon.
Right. and flying is definitely making the leveling a lot easier. You're not having to wade through a bunch of mobs when you can just pop in,
Yeah.
And pop out. So I'm liking that.
Well, speaking of flying. Nice little segue. Another change that came through that's being worked on for 7.2.5 is flight maps, and I'm hoping that they expand this beyond what's on there right now. What's on there right now are 4 items, 2 for Alliance and 2 for Horde, and what they do is one of them is, for instance, the Aged Eastern Kingdoms flight map. And what that does is it's a toy that you can purchase. It is $15K, so it's pricey, but it's a toy, which means that, once you've learned it, it's on the tab to be used by any of your characters starting at level 1. And when you use that toy, you automatically learn all of the flight paths in Eastern Kingdoms. And they have another one that does the same thing for Kalimdor. Now, I'm hoping that down the road, and I feel like they probably will, that they will add those also for Wrath of the Lich King, and they'll add it for Outland and so forth. So eventually, I think that they will follow suit with the other areas and put those in. Now, the beauty of this is, if you're like me and you've burned through a lot of alts and you've used alts to make gold, I see this, even though to get both of these toys, it's going to cost you $30K, but it's a one-time purchase of $30K. Once you've done it, you've got the toys. It's account bound. It's if you're like me and you have multiple accounts, it's BattleNet account bound. So for me, it's going to be for every tune that I play. If I make a new level 1, they've already instantly, they can pull those toys out, click them, and they have every flight path in the old world. And for moving around in the beginning, when you have no flight paths really, it really makes it easy to get around for power leveling and so forth. And I've got
yourself a lot of time,
I'm also kicking a couple ideas around in my head for when you make a brand new character, being able to go anywhere right away that quickly. I'm thinking that there has to be a way, or 2 or 3, to make gold with this. I still got the wheels turning on it because Matt can tell you, I literally just found out about this right before we started recording. So this is very new information for me that I wasn't aware of. This was not prepared in notes from a couple of days ago or anything. I mean, I literally saw this, I copied and pasted it into my notes so that I would remember to bring it up. I think within the next couple of days, I'm going to have a plan in place to use this to more than pay for the 30K. I'm gonna find a way for it to at least pay for itself. I think there's going to be a way similar to being able to use the server transfers to make gold that we can now do with tokens. That's a moneymaker, and I think this might be as well. There's got to be a way. Any thoughts yet, Mac, or are you going to make me figure this one out on my own?
I don't have enough room for a bunch of level 1s that it's going to...
I'll go on a different realm. What I'll do is I'll go on a fresh realm with a level 1.
Oh, I know. That's what I'm saying is I'm running out of room on my one account, and I did shut down my second account for this.
Oh, expansion. You've already got 50?
I'm getting real close.
I haven't done that yet. Come on, man. Are you kidding me?
No, I'm getting real close. I mean, I probably have maybe 6 slots left.
All right, well, let me see. So you've got, I figure you've got 12 on Whisperwind. You've got 12 on Dalaran, right? Dalaran. Do you have 12 on Demon Soul?
No, I guess I have more room than I thought. But
I think you got more room. I think you got about 30 maybe. You got about 30 tunes maybe?
So I got about 20 slots left. You're right.
All right, I was going to say, you're playing on some realms you didn't tell me about. That you go on when you want to hide from me or something. I don't know.
No, Demon Soul. I got a 1 or 2 on Earth and Ring. I've got 1 or 2 on. I can't remember the name of the other one. Anyways, yeah.
I was going to say I'm over 40 tunes on both of my accounts, so I'm within about 10 of hitting that cap, but I haven't hit it yet.
I was just thinking I was closer than I was, and after we do the math,
right?
After I take the shoes off, then I can, so I guess I've got a little more.
After you run out of fingers and toes.
Yeah.
So.
Pull out my gloves and put them up there and count the use. Yeah, I see.
I meant to ask you before. Have you been? Have they been breaking you in at work? Or are you still kind of dragging ass all day, or what?
Yeah. I'm doing okay. I broke a train car the other day.
I know you broke something. That's horrible.
I say everyone in the department has done it at least once. Once. I was guiding a trailer.
Yeah.
Onto one of our rail cars, and got it hooked in, and there's a wheel tray where they hook the trailer into, and I was paying attention to the wheel tray instead of watching the landing gear, and there's a little air valve that you got to kind of watch, and so I wasn't paying attention to that, and basically broke an air valve on a train, so they had to remove that car from service, and we had to unload the car, and it caused a little overtime. But
yeah, well, I've been a little concerned about you. You went from the office job to you're out there in the thick of things, and I'm not alone in that concern. I think about half of our letters that we get are something to the effect of, "Is the old guy okay? I mean, is he going to be all right?"
No, it's all right. We're having fun.
All these care packages of Ben Gay arriving at the doorstep,
I'm getting a little more exercise than I planned on, but yeah. I have lost about 16 pounds since I started, so we're
there you go. There you go. You're gonna be a lean, mean fighting machine there, huh?
Yeah. We'll go another 30 and we'll be good. Yeah.
Oh man, well, I think you're going to be okay. I think you got enough of the young guys out there to pick up the slack when you have to take a nap or something like that.
Well, it's the 3-day weekends. We work 4/10, so it is kind of nice to be able to take the weekend off when they don't force overtime on you.
Yeah.
And recuperate. Speaking of recuperating, I've got to work in the morning.
Yeah.
It'll be good.
Well, next week, before we wrap things up, next week we're supposed to be having an interview, kind kind of saved the details of that for later. But if all goes according to plan, that's what we'll be looking at. And so I'm really looking forward to that. I have to say I enjoy the interviews. It's a nice departure from what we normally bumble and stumble through here. But
it gives it like I've said in previous podcasts, it gives another perspective than just Dex and my perspective on gold making. So
yeah, I will tease it with this and say that the person that we'll be interviewing probably knows a little bit about gold making.
Oh,
sure. So yeah, and today's show is going to be maybe a little shorter than it normally is. But again, we've got the interview next week, and the interviews tend to run a little bit long, so we'll make it up next week. And there'll be somebody besides us, so the quality level will certainly get boosted up a little bit.
Oh, there we go. I was just going to say, and while you're listening, if there's things that you've found in the game that are making you money that you'd like to share with the community, we'll certainly be glad to use that information out there. If you've got any questions, please send them in.
Absolutely. And if you go to the, I know I say at the end of every show, but if you go to the website, we do have a speak pipe there where you can just kind of push a button and leave us a voice message. And, if you're wanting to share some things with us, and you never know. I mean, you leave a message on there, we might decide we want to bring you on the show and have you tell everybody yourself. And if you would be up for something like that. So yeah, we are not opposed to having one of our listeners on the show if they've got some good things to share. Well, I think that's going to about wrap up this week's episode. I'd like to thank Schaefer Bates for his awesome work as the Goblin voice at the beginning of each show. Also, Kevin MacLeod at Incompetech.com for our theme music, Hot Rock, licensed under Creative Commons.
And if you'd like to get in touch with us, you can contact us at Mac, that's M-A-C, at GoblinGoldcast.com, or Dex, that's D-E-X, at GoblinGoldcast.com. If you can't reach us at our main email, we have an alternate, that's MacGoblinGoldcast at gmail.com. You can contact us on Twitter at Goblin Goldcast, or you can visit us on Facebook.
And don't forget to visit the swag store at cafepress.com/Goblin Goldcast. And you can leave us a voicemail on our website, GoblinGoldcast.com. And please subscribe to us on iTunes or Stitcher if you listen to us there.
And we'll see you next week.
Now go make some gold.
Yes! Tonight is gonna be legend. Wait, are we sure it's a good idea to go to a strip club? Shut up, Lily, I'm in charge now. Dairy!